and
Chat.
fun. And Clash Royale is
History of every April Fool's prank in Clash Royale. I didn't even know Clash Royale did April Fool's pranks. Let's jump into it. Oh, that, okay.
There's no exception on joining in on the fun. Over the years, we've seen everything from wild...
Dude, this is the guy that has the weird editing, bro. He has, like, the goon content. This guy's a little crazy.
Card reworks and teasers to the infamous one elixir golem.
What did he just say? What did he just say?
Supercell has truly embraced the spirit of April Fool's Day in
Oh, I remember this.
some hilarious ways. In this video, we'll take a look at every April Fool's joke ever introduced in Clash Royale. Don't worry, this one will be short and sweet.
Wait, this is
so
sick!
if you're
Wait!
to watch this or you don't go to sleep, you can totally do both.
Wait,
Let's dive right in and start at the beginning, where it all began. Everything began in 2016, of course, when Clash Royale was launched,
Yes!
literally just a month after the game went global. The game was new in every sense of the word. Its concepts, cards, gameplay, mechanics, visuals, everything felt fresh and innovative. Despite being so young, Supercell still decided to create something special for April Fools. Their first ever April Fool's prank involved a small but highly entertaining balance change to 3 key cards: Tombstone, Mortar, and Crossbow.
Dude, so I remember this when it happened, bro. Like, Molt did a video on it. This was crazy.
By small, I mean absolutely chaotic. The Tombstone
Chat, the Tombstone is spawning giant skellies.
no longer spawned regular skeletons, but instead spawned giant skeletons, even one destroyed. Imagine the mayhem that caused.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna throw a defensive mortar up because now it actually makes sense.
Look at all the giant skeletons. Dude, they have to do something like this again, bro. Like, I want to play one of these modes with Riley, bro. This would be sick. I am playing Tombstone.
Then there was the Mortar, which swapped its usual rock projectile for Goblin Barrels.
Bro!
The Goblin Barrels dealt damage on impact, so now Mortar was a legitimate threat to both troops and towers. Lastly, the Crossbow, which received a truly wild
Wait,
rework.
what did they do to the Expo? I don't remember this.
It was given friendly fire. The Crossbow had already been widely hated in the early days of Clash Royale because it was overpowered and annoying.
If you put an Expo down, it would take your own tower?
Why? Well, it could target both ground and air troops, which made it incredibly frustrating to deal with, but with this new, buff, the Crossbow didn't just shoot at enemy units now, it could shoot at your own towers. It got even funnier when you realized you couldn't even destroy it, because it was your own troop. Your only hope was for the enemy to destroy it for you. Otherwise, you might just end up 3-crowning yourself. Supercell thought it would be far funnier to rework the entire card in a way that actively hurt the player rather than try to balance it, and in a strange way, it kinda made sense.
You already know a Supercell dev lost to like a 3.0 Expo Psycho player like the night before and just added this, bro.
How could a Crossbow distinguish between enemy troops and your own allies? It was a hilarious and somewhat realistic reimagining of the card's functionality. Unfortunately, this April Fool's prank wasn't available to the general public. It was part of a modified developer build that Supercell shared with YouTubers, allowing them to mess around, have fun, and create videos that helped spread the word about Clash Royale. While it was a small disappointment for players who weren't YouTubers, the game had only been out for a month, and at that point, Clash Royale was still unknown to many. These early YouTube videos turned out to be a huge factor in the game's rise to popularity, encouraging more people to give the base game a try. In 2017, Clash Royale had grown immensely, and Supercell decided to kick things up a notch for April Fool's Day, this time offering something wild that everyone could enjoy. On April 1st, they posted a tweet that simply read, "Sneak peek, the future of clan battles." To give some context, clan battles were a new event in the game at that time, where clan members teamed up to play and earn crowns for crown chests. Clan wars hadn't been introduced yet, but 2v2 battles were still fresh and exciting. That's what made this teaser so bizarre. Just
Chat, look at how many king towers there are.
take a look at those king towers. But what really caught everyone's eye were the mysterious details on the far left and right of the image. First off, you might notice the Elixir Golem, a card that didn't even exist in 2017. In fact, it wasn't released until 2019. But what was even more curious was the bear trap on the far left. At the time, players went wild speculating that Supercell was teasing new cards that would soon make their way into Clash Royale.
Bro, but they never released the bear trap. But they did release the E-Golem 2 years later, but they never released the bear trap, bro.
One user named Radical Rosh on Twitter even made a concept model of these two cards. The Elixir Golems was some nightmare fuel though. The excitement was real. Everyone thought that these would be upcoming additions to the game that year.
Chat, I might be totally wrong, but an OG player will remember this. But dude, didn't the OG Elixir Golem used to give you Elixir? Like, if you put it down and then it died, wouldn't you get Elixir? Chat, right or wrong? Right or wrong? Right or wrong? I think it did, right? No? Yes. Some people are saying yes. Bro, I thought the old Elixir Golem gave you Elixir.
However, it turned out to be nothing but an elaborate April Fool's prank. Well, almost nothing, because as it turns out, the Elixir Golem did eventually make its way into the game in 2019. And, well, basically broke the meta. As for the bear trap, its story remains a mystery. It was found in the game files, but seems to have been scrapped before ever seeing the light of day. Regardless, the inclusion of the bear trap made the image even more intriguing and sent fans into a frenzy, making it one of the—
Dude, they have to release this, bro. This would be so good against beatdown decks, chat.
most memorable and widely shared April Fool's jokes in Clash Royale history. But anyway, the whole thing was an over-exaggerated version of 2v2. What made this idea even funnier was that at the time, everyone was discussing the possibility of 3v3 and 4v4 games, so—
Could you imagine this? 3v3 or 4v4 Clash? Bro, that would be— it would just be spell cycling. I don't even remember this. The barrel?
The barrel.
And there is
You clicked it and got Rick rolled?
Seriously, did we expect anything less from that big yellow tempting button? So to be honest, I expected some kind of actual made-up gameplay footage. No one expected a Rickroll, but it was just so easy, and it worked. So good job, Supercell. You got us good. But wait, there's more. In addition to everything, there was another prank they pulled off that year called Touchdown is Back. The entry was free, but once you were in, there was no way out. You couldn't exit the challenge at all. To escape, you had to win 12 times, and in the end, all you got for your efforts was a single Larry. But here's the kicker. If you paid close attention, you'd have noticed that the cards you earned actually spelled out April Fools. It was a brilliant touch, honestly. Now fast forward to 2019, and things are a little underwhelming compared to the previous year's shenanigans. That year, the team actually announced a few balance changes that were scheduled to go live on April 1st. The catch? These balance changes were real. They weren't part of an April Fool's joke. They were actual updates to the game. But of course, players still treated them as a joke because of how questionable some of the changes were. Take for instance, the witch now spawning 3 skeletons upon death. Seriously, what were they thinking?
The witch used to spawn 3 skellies when she died?
However, there was one notable April Fool's joke in 2019. The last-minute balance change for one specific card, The Spear Goblins. According to the post, they were going to add an additional Spear Goblin that would do area damage. Naturally, this was just a prank and it never came to fruition. Still, it would have been wild if it had happened. The animation in the post even cleverly portrayed the fourth Goblin as the log, which, was a nice touch. Ironically, the actual balance changes that went live that year ended up getting more attention than the Spear Goblin joke itself. But aside from that, there was also a memorable video Supercell published in 2019 titled Nerf Miner. Yeah.
Bro, they say this and then they poke fun at this, but then they legitimately just keep nerfing the miner. Like, you guys aren't even in on the joke if you actually nerf him.
Yeah, we get it. Everyone loves to hate on Miner.
Jack, did you... Okay.
So, Supercell decided to make him a one-shot powerhouse, perfectly balanced, right? But
wait, they literally did that? Are you serious? They did this?
honestly, let's stop the Miner hate. He's arguably one of the coolest cards in the game. As for 2020, it wasn't a practically standout year for April Fool's pranks, but it was probably one of the saddest years for most people. First off, Supercell announced that they'd be deleting the heal spell forever and replacing it with a new card, the Heal Spirit. Obviously, since this was announced on April Fool's, everyone took it as a joke because the team loved making announcements on April Fools, but this time it wasn't the case. They actually deleted the heal spell. And it was kind of expected because it was the start of a new season, so the announcement was real, but damn. Anyway, on that same day, Clash Royale introduced something called April Special Quest, back when quests were still a feature in the game. The premise of this quest was a bit of a joke in itself. The quest would end in just 2 days, and the challenges were ridiculously
Deal 1 million damage with a P.E.K.K.A. in 1v1 battles in 2 days.
difficult. As a reward, well, let's just say it didn't really live up to the effort required.
For 10 gems?
Some of the quests looked like this. Deal 1 million damage with P.E.K.K.A. in 1v1 battles, clan wars, or challenges, and you'd get...
And you get 1 epic? Nah.
1 epic card.
That's disgusting.
Just 1. Win with heal 100 times in 1v1 battles, clan wars, or challenges.
Bro, it's hard to even get 100 wins in 2 days anyways.
And your reward would be 2,000 coins. Play Goblin Cage 1,000 times.
Yeah, this one's legitimately not possible. It's not.
For a grand total of 10 gems. Yep, just 10 gems. As you can see, these were nearly impossible tasks. Sure, you could technically complete them if you were incredibly determined and maybe a little insane, but let's be real, no one was really gonna grind for those rewards. The prizes were so underwhelming that it was almost laughable. Felt more like a slap in the face after all that effort. In 2021, we got a totally normal game mode for April Fools. And yeah, that's exactly what it was called. Totally normal game mode.
Okay.
Supercell decided to switch things up and ditch the usual April Fool's nonsense for a change, aiming to keep things serious all year round. There were no wacky gimmicks or outlandish changes this time.
Why did that skeleton just spawn by itself?
You could win new magic items after completing the challenge, just like any other regular game mode. But as you might expect from a name like that, it was anything but
Why is there a holographic skeleton spawning by itself?
But normal. Sure, the idea was that you needed to win 7 times to earn real rewards, but there was a catch. Larrys would spawn, not just any Larrys. These Larrys were special. They were invisible and invincible. Much like the Royal Ghost, they were in ghost form. Permanent ghost form. No cards could detect these sneaky little skeletons, not
What is happening right now?
even if they hit. Once they made their way to your tower, they'd just chip away at it until you managed to get rid of them. The only way to deal with these ghost Larrys was by using some spawn damage from cards like the Electro Wizard, Ice Wizard, or something similar, or by hitting them with Fireball or any other spell. It was a pretty bad trade, but hey, that was the joke. The whole thing was
What in the world?
just a clever way for Supercell to keep the April Fool's tradition alive without going overboard. But 2022 might have been one of the craziest April Fool's jokes Supercell ever pulled off. They introduced a new event in the Party tab called
No way. Random elixir mode?
the random elixir mode, which was later renamed to totally balanced game mode. And let me tell you, it was absolutely wild. In this game mode, the elixir cost of every card was completely random. You could place a Mega Knight for just 1 elixir, while an Ice Spirit could cost you 9. The elixir cost was entirely RNG based, which made the games chaotic, unpredictable, and of course, unbalanced.
Oh, 1 elixir golem, 1 elixir E-Giant.
Ooh, 9 elixir spirit, that's not that good.
Wait, but they just fed me. Let's do another 1 elixir golem. Another
1 elixir golem?
1 elixir golem, 8 elixir E-Giant, because why not? Oh my word. 1 elixir 3M. There's no way I just double planted 2 golems. I need to put clone in here.
This wasn't exactly a challenge in the traditional sense. It was more of a fun, over-the-top game
That is sick. They need to bring that back.
mode where you could still earn crowns and
Chad, that
progress.
is sick.
Winning was pretty much based entirely on luck. Your opponent might have had a better random roll in terms of elixir, and that could make all the difference. But hey, that's what made it fun. It was a crazy way to mix up the usual gameplay, and honestly, it was just about having a good time. Then in 2023, April Fools took an interesting turn. The joke wasn't the famous update the losers, but instead it was tucked away in the training camp. Trainer Cheddar got a massive buff.
What?
And oh boy, he became ridiculously overpowered. His tower had a whopping 23,000 HP,
Is that a level 18 Mega Knight?
and all of his cards were maxed out at level 18. Every card he placed was like a massive meat shield. Did I mention he had a Mega Knight? Defeating him was nearly impossible, but not entirely out of the question. Some players managed to take him down if they really put in the effort. Of course, you didn't get any rewards because, well, I mean, it was an April Fool's joke, but it was still fun to try to beat him. And if he did, that flex was bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger's bicep. And we all know you've seen that. His bicep is massive. And for our
Yo, this dude's editing is really weird.
last April Fool's joke, we have
What?
2024, which was both fun and a little terrifying at the same time. You'll understand what I mean in just a minute. On April 1st, Supercell dropped a bombshell on Twitter.
Why does the Mega Knight look like that right now?
They announced a Mega Knight evolution.
Down boy.
Naturally, the community went wild, with everyone talking, what in the world? But after watching the video that accompanied the announcement, it quickly became clear that it was an April Fool's joke. Still, it wasn't as over the top as some of the pranks from previous years, and in fact, some players completely missed it. But in the end, yes, Mega Knight Evolution was the joke. Or was it?
Evolution Mega Knight has a whole arena radius, infinite range. It can jump through air. One-shots giants, jumps in the Prince Tower and the King Tower, hits the dragons. 0 cycle? We need this evolution now.
See, here's where it gets a bit spooky. Unfortunately, that joke turned out to be anything but a joke. On September 14th, we actually got an actual Mega Knight evolution. Yep, you heard that right. What seemed like a sly April Fool's prank turned out to be a teaser for one of the biggest updates to the game. And let me tell you, that's where the fear comes in. All that prank really did was set us up for the real evolution to come later in the year. And honestly, it was both exciting and a little unsettling.
Dude, this is probably the greatest Evo intro ever. It's like a P.E.K.K.A. versus Mega Knight boxing match.
Other jokes might actually turn into something real in the future. Only time will tell, but we're definitely on edge now. I'm curious to see what jokes Supercell will come up with for April Fool's 2025. I hope it's a good one. And while
Wait, chat, what did they do for 2025? Did they do anything?
you're waiting for April, check out this video where I dive into the full history of the
Wait, because I started playing March. So I played April. Did they do anything in April? Nothing. Nothing. So you're telling me the one time I returned, they don't do anything? Nah, like, I swear to God, bro. Evo Diddy? Yeah, but that wasn't April Fool's. Like, bro, they need to bring these back. Chat, they need to bring this. Chat, this stupid stuff. Bro, if I was in control of Clash, every April Fool's, I would set up the game for 24 hours to where it's literally just insane. Like, you can make it a mode, but I would be so insane where I would literally put it in ladder. Just for a day, because it would be cinema. Bro, if Tombstone spawned giant skellies, like, what else could they do? Like, they could do so much stuff, bro. Like, they could make barbarian huts spawn elite barbarians. They could literally, now this is crazy, but bro, for 2026 April Fools, could you imagine they do like a Mega Knight graveyard? Or no, like a Mega Knight hut? Or like a graveyard where it spawns Evo skeletons? Like, I don't know. They could do so much sick stuff.